get 1.33.
Which is better than the LPGA Tour.
Wow.
Exactly, yes, you're officially a professional kegger. Right, so what we're looking at today, do you want to have a look? Should we have a look at a bit of everything and see what's going on? Because we can then focus on elements that you need to obviously get right. Generally speaking then, with a pitching wedge, how is you pitching? Hitting like a normal, say a pitching wedge from here to that white flag, is it reasonably alright? Are you getting the ball in the air?
It's really inconsistent, to be honest. Sometimes she's getting it over where she wants it, like go entirely over the green, or other times she's just not getting under it and it's just firing across the floor, a bit like sometimes me. But other times it's really good. So it's just inconsistency, really.
Just the consistency.
My irritation is top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just skimming across the
Scooting
floor.
along the floor.
Yeah. Not getting under.
And then goes in a bunker, and then bunker, and then bunker. So it's
From one side to the other. Right, what irons have you brought today?
I didn't.
Oh, you want to work on your pitching, but you forgot your pitching.
Oh, that's fine. You've got a 9, haven't you?
Nine.
I mean, I would say start with a 9 and just hit it just like a normal shot, like we would just a normal thing. And let's see what we get with it. Let's see what we see. Right, away you go. So hit a couple of shots for me.
Yeah.
See the contact, that was lovely, wasn't it? You know the sound and the strike, balls in the air, nice strike, yeah, lovely. Yeah, overall, swing quite good. I mean, looking at just those 2 shots for a second, I think whenever you hit a golf ball, you've got those 3 core components when you hit a ball. First of all, how good the contact sounds, how good the strike is. And I think both of those sounded really good. So the contact is good, isn't it? The second thing is obviously the direction maybe which the ball goes, and the third thing is when it's in the air, is it staying straight or is it going left or is it going right? These were quite straight, but they were straight right, weren't they? Now, if we look, I don't know if we remember being in, I think we came in here a couple of times.
Oh yeah,
probably was you. If you remember, do you remember what the red and the blue lines are there? They refer to the direction in which our club is travelling, is swinging, and where that's pointing. And at the moment, based on what you've just done there, they were 2 lovely shots, but just out to the right. And the one thing that was common denominator in both was that red arrow was to the right in both cases. Well, so basically when we hit the ball, our club face was like this. So the shots were lovely, just that they went out to the right hand side. So that red arrow is represented by that number there. And if you remember, 0 would be straight, minus is left, and a positive number is right. So what we have here, obviously we've got both lines going in opposite directions. Now when they go in opposite directions, it usually means the shot is not quite as good. We ideally want them to be in line as best we can. Now that could be both in line left, both in line straight, or both in line to the right. Or if they weren't in line, you'd ideally want them the opposite way around. Instead of the blue going left, we'd want the blue going right. And the reason for that is when we hit a golf ball, we know, for example, we want to hit the ball there, we want it to go in a nice straight line. Or when you hit a ball, the club head has to travel this side of the line, coming from the inside straight and then inside. Or we could actually have it travelling that way. So the blue line travelling to the right would mean the ball was pushed to the right. But if the red arrow now was the opposite, if this was the opposite way around, you'd hit that lovely draw shape, or they'd go further, they'd be more powerful shots. But in this particular situation, we're swinging to the left with an open club face, so you lose power. So you don't hit the ball quite as far as you possibly could do. So definitely we could potentially hit the ball further if we could straighten the lines up. So that's how we can tell the distance is short. So do you remember our smash factors?
1.25 was it?
So if we look at, for example, the ladies PGA Tour, have a look at the averages for the ladies. We can see an average 9-iron is 1.28.
Okay.
Now ours is 1.02, which basically means that the club and the ball are travelling at the same speed. Because remember, we get that number, that smash factor, by dividing the ball speed by the club head speed. So if we swing at 100 miles an hour, for example, with a driver, the maximum the ball can go is 150. So divide 150 by 100, you get 1.5. So in this particular case, we're swinging the club reasonably fast. That's okay. It's just that the ball speed isn't going fast enough because we've got the face open. And even on the backswing, as we take the club back, first part, lovely, really nice shoulder turn, arms go up, fantastic, really, really good swing. The only little thing at the top is we just swing it a little bit too far. So we go back and we go up, keep going, and then we come down. So there's just that slightly long swing, which most people do. And the problem with when we swing it too far, usually, the most common thing you see people when they go back further and further and further, as they come to swing the club down, and they have to, and the club goes that way. Hence a fishing rod, like a cast, they call it casting like fishing. The swing itself, really good. But coming back to this again, where we can see that club face being open, that's the biggest problem.
Look at this
Yes, yeah.
So, like that?
Yeah, but, okay, go, don't.
Stop.
No. Because, you know, when they're putting the grips on the factories, they're not really paying attention to where it is. They have a rough idea, but it's never, not always, and sometimes the top might not line up with the bottom. Because they can be slightly twisted when they put the grips on. So if you can, some grips do have markers on, like this one I've got, but I wouldn't go off where the markers are because the markers might not be right. Basically, as long as when that goes on the floor, that points where I want it to point, and then regardless of that, you can see where my left hand is. Got that crease going over to my right shoulder. I can see those two knuckles quite strongly there. If I gave you this club in your hand, did you see what you did? Came underneath, and that's natural. We go, oh yeah, thanks. And grip it, and the problem is when we grip it underneath, we've now got to reposition this, and it's like, well, okay, now I've got to really change it. So instead of coming from underneath, you let go, let your arms hang down. Now, just bring your arm up, like so. Good. So it comes on top, not underneath. So just grip there. That's it. Good. So it's sometimes easier to bring the hand on like this, as opposed to this and turn it. Yeah, if I bring my left hand on now, I'm kind of doing the old kind of like shadow thing, bring it on like this, and you're on the top. Yeah? So if you let go again, because if you think, you know, when you let your arms hang down as well, your hands don't actually face each other. They don't stand like this. If you relax them, they turn inwards. And if you just lift your arm up, keep it there. That's it, done.
It's almost natural.
It's almost natural then, isn't it? And then everything's in place where it wants to be. And then we bring the right hand on, like this. Perfect. And then the only thing then is we're making the swing. Obviously we know we're turning up to here. Ideally with short clubs as well, be careful not to go too low here. It's got to point up here. And then as it comes down, this is where you get a really nice contact on. Turns, 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 strikes. Turns, turns, turns. Whereas a lot of people turn strike. Definitely don't want that. Because obviously we know the golf swing, it goes around in a circle, doesn't it? It's a semicircle from here down. When we get to the ball, we turn, and we turn, and we rotate through. Like this. What we're not actually doing, we're not doing this, we're doing, because this is a 9-iron, you're still a bit too far away, come a bit closer, there, and upright. But we're always better being here than being here. Yeah? Just nice and relaxed. Perfect. See, that looks better already. When we see it in a second, that looks fantastic. Just hit the tip. Oh,
very nice.
Perfect. Perfect. So, give that a try. A little bit close together with the feet as well. Ball in the middle. Now, nice and slow, okay, go on the way up. Relax the hands. Tip the tee and turn the hands on the way down. Wow. Wow.
Oh,
Perfect. Perfect. But you could tell by the difference in the strike, couldn't you? It sounded better, it flew better. And look at the smash factor.
Oh, oh.
We get 1.33.
Which is better than the LPGA Tour
Wow.
Exactly, yes. You're officially a professional kicker.